In this clip, I will be explaining a bit about the Shem ha-Mephorash. Shem ha-Mephorash means name of extension. It is a method of using 72 angels. Now, it is, you can put these angels in a sephiroth and access them from that. The methodology is pretty much the same, although there are some slight differences. So, with the Shem ha-Mephorash, 72 angels, and they all have an allocation of 5 degrees. So 72 times 5 equals 360 degrees, a complete circle. When you perform a ritual to one of these angels, you will have to face that particular angle. So you more than likely will not be facing directly east. So for this you will need a compass, the type of compass you'd use in hiking, for reading maps and so on. But, and I will say this, unless you have had experience in using the tree of life and the sephiroth in general practice, I would be reluctant to recommend you go straight from having no experience to jumping into this. But this is an option and you should know about. So, with the sephiroth, you have a virtue and a vice. Now, when you bring in an angel from the Shem ha-Mephorash, that angel has its own virtue and vice. So, in the individual sephiroth, the virtue and vice gets pushed to the side, and the virtue and vice of that angel takes its place. The candles, incense, and so on still remain the same. And you will be facing a particular degree, or within 5 degrees, when you perform your ritual. But everything else is the same. So, the reason why I wanted to bring this up for myself, it would be easier for me to give a basic rundown, recommend websites where you can check up what other people have had to say and take it from there. But I've looked at some of these websites and I don't understand where they're coming from. Now, as I do it, I start off due east and go clockwise. Now, every 5 degrees. Some of the stuff I've seen come up lately is I don't understand. Look at the planets. Right, you've got the Earth that rotates in a counterclockwise motion. You have the orbit of the Earth also in a counterclockwise motion. In fact, all of the planets go in a counterclockwise motion except Venus. And also take into consideration that planets go retrograde. Now, some people say, well, this proves that when you work with the Shem ha-Mephorash, you shouldn't be going clockwise, you should be going counterclockwise. But the problem is, when I've looked at they're just websites, and books on the Shem ha-Mephorash are basically, they're long gone. The ones, the sites that say go counterclockwise, they don't actually give a point of reference. So you say, go counterclockwise. Okay, where do you start going counterclockwise from? Where's your 0 degrees? And they do not explain it. They don't name it. No, north, south, east, west, they don't name anything. So it's like having a jigsaw puzzle, but without a board to assemble the pieces on. You don't know what the final shape's going to be. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to end. But I do it clockwise. Have I been absolutely successful in every Shem ha-Mephorash ritual? No. There are times I've been, yes, successful, yes. But I try to put into a perspective for you to understand. Now, if I had done something wrong, instead of getting a virtue of that angel, I would have got the vice, the payback, because I had done the wrong thing. But, have there times when I've done rituals and nothing's come out of it? Yes, they have. It's, how do you say, it's like you've done the right things in regards to ritual, but there's just no payoff. Have I had more failures than successes? No. Do I use the Shem ha-Mephorash at every given opportunity? No. But the successes I have had, I mean, they were fantastic. So yes, it does work. Remember that in Kabbalah, you are buying time in which to alter your circumstance. And indeed, let's be honest, magic is symbolic. Now you've got the hour of Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Sun, whatever. But these are symbolic. Notice though it's some sort of tag team event. Okay, it's Mercury's hour now, so, and then there's a tag and then it passes on. It's not like that. It is symbolic. I look at it this way to those who say that my method is wrong. You might write a letter, you put it in an envelope, get your stamps, address it, go to the post office and put it in a mailbox. Now, that letter you have put in the mailbox may be picked up there and then. It may be picked up the next day. It may be picked up in a couple of days. But it's in the system. Now, it might get lost within the postal service. There might not be enough postage on it in order to deliver it to where you intended it to go, but it's still in the system. It might get returned back to you. Possible. But it might get returned back to you with the post office demanding you pay the return fee. That could happen as well. which is where the vice comes in. You know, if you've been irresponsible in your ritual, in your intent, then there will be a payback. So that's what I wanted to emphasize, because there are websites, you know, you might find odd bits and pieces, you know, in libraries and such. And having read some of the texts in regard to the Shem ha-Mephorash, I strongly suspect that the people who wrote these things have never practiced them. I've seen, which is a current trend I've noted, is that people combine the Shem ha-Mephorash with the Goetia. That's like saying I practice Hinduism in order to improve my Buddhism, or something of that nature. These are separate. Shem ha-Mephorash and Goetia are separate. Yes, they probably, or you could say they do have a common type of foundation, but they are separate systems. Shem ha-Mephorash is angels, Goetia is demons. Yeah, they are related in a way, but they are separate. So when you look at that, you know, I don't think what I am saying or what I am offering you is any less valid. In fact, I'd say it is a hell of a lot more valid. Not perfect, but more valid than what is going around at the moment. I decided that this clip needs an update. I've looked at the methods and the components of the Shem ha-Mephorash. And as I said before, I have not had 100% success in my rituals. Not, I'd say mostly I have succeeded. And with a system you can trawl back through it and see where you might have gone wrong. Now, do I believe the system I mentioned earlier is better than what is going around on the internet? Yes, I do. The angels are correct, although my personal preference is for the Abu Lafia pronunciation rather than the common pronunciation as in books, no, in the 1800s, thereabouts. The only issue of doubt in my rituals that I have had depends on the motion of whether to measure out the degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. I've compared my rituals and the basis for them against what is commonly being accepted now. I'll give you an example why I, let's say, initially believed and still do that the clockwise motion is correct. Now, from the Shem ha-Mephorash, we have the 19th angel, God who hears sinners Mevamiah. The degrees are 91 to 95. And the instructions: to be invoked while facing south. From using point due east as a reference point for beginning and starting the calculations of degrees. At 90 degrees going clockwise, you would end up at south. That for me was and still is my belief. However, if we look at this is a concern to me. The 58th angel, Thou. El, which is 286 degrees to 290 degrees. Among its attributes, it influences iron and those involved in commerce. But yet, when you consider that iron would come under Mars, an additional note to it is brave, frank affinity for Venus. And these two things are contradictory. The only way I could figure that out is if it was given the zodiac sign of Taurus instead of Capricorn. So we have in this section two contradictory methods. I believe, and I still do believe, that the zodiac sign starts from Aries and continues to Pisces, whereas the golden dawn of S.L. macgregor-mathers says it begins at Leo, and that would put the 58th angel, Leo, under Taurus. So we have two systems, so to speak. Now, whether the book I got this from, and that was by Pappas. I cannot remember the exact name, but something like the Kabbalah Unveiled. Now, whether there's been some sort of re-editing or an error in translation, I do not know. Remember, this information came from French to English. So, from all of this, I cannot tell you that I am explicitly right or that I am explicitly wrong. And this would need to be dealt for a separate series. But what I will do, because this concerns the practical Kabbalah and health, I will give you an angel which I have made use of and was successful. The name is Mumiah, or as under the Abu Lafia pronunciation be Mevamiah, which covers 356 degrees to 360. Now, whichever way you go, clockwise or counterclockwise. If you use what could be the 0 degrees or 360 degrees, then you would by default be facing the direction needed. So clockwise, counterclockwise, it does not matter. If you stick to 360 degrees when it comes to 0 degrees or 1 degree, because the Shem ha-Mephorash does not commence till 1 degree. This will be successful also because you are facing due east, as in all Kabbalah rituals that make use of the sephiroth, or the individual sephiroths require you face due east. So I am not going to just make clips and tell you that my word is infallible, that it should not be questioned, and that you must obey what I say without questioning. I will not say that. And I do say to you, do not believe a word I say. Check it for yourself. For me, because I do have knowledge of the Kabbalah of the Shem ha-Mephorash, I can alter a ritual to suit the end that I'm aiming for. Whereas I don't know what you know. You might know more than me, and if so, tell me clockwise or counterclockwise. But if you do not, then really, if I've made an error in regards to any angel, I do not want to see that error passed on to you. So, as I said before, unless you have some experience in the Kabbalah with the sephiroth, this is not a first choice. But I will tell you about Mumiah or Mevamiah, and you can decide for yourself. It really is the last card in the pack. I do not know your circumstance, and it is your life, it is your choice.